Jack Leiter made his first big league start, and it was somehow only about the 17th wildest part of this insane series in Detroit. We'll talk about why that is, all that and more on this episode of Locked On Rangers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked onto the World Series champion Texas Rangers. I'm Bryce Patrick, a cripplingly addicted Texas Rangers fan covering this team for 11 seasons, including all 6 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank you all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If you're not already, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Patrick. You can follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way you can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, before we get into the wacky, weird, beautiful, brilliant, awful debut of Jack Leiter and just the silliest game of baseball your Texas Rangers have played all season, this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for your first deposit match up to $100. Now, the big story of the day, Jack Leiter made his big league debut. He did it. Way to go, Jack Leiter. You are officially a big leaguer. No one can ever take that away from you. That was awesome. And then the results started to come in, and it became a little less awesome. Now, you look at the final line, 3 2/3 innings. You can see 8 hits, 7 runs, all of them earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, but it doesn't really begin to encapsulate the day that Jack Leiter had. He started off with a fantastic first inning of work and overall performed much better than his final line would suggest. Still very fastball heavy, as he has been for the last couple of years. The slider was solid, got quite a few called strikes on it, was painting it on the corners early on. Also using the changeup more than I initially anticipated, including getting a strikeout on that. Fastball was, about where you thought it would be, maxing out at 96.8 miles an hour, minimum of 93.8, so averaging around 95 with that fastball, and that one low pitch was something he took off on, I believe it was a 3-0 or 3-1 count to get a called strike in the middle of the zone. That was not necessarily expected. Actually, I'm sorry, that was Jose Ureña's velocities, because for some reason they don't have the velocities of all of Jack Leiter's pitches. Maxing out 97.7. There we go. Averaging 96 for Jack Leiter on that fastball, getting 8 called strikes, 5 whiffs on the fastball, 10 whiffs on the day overall, and his defense let him down a little bit in this one. A little bit of a rough defensive day for Leody Taveras, especially on a triple that probably should have been caught. I'd say definitely should have been caught. Leody will tell you it definitely should have been caught. We'll talk more about Leody and his just weird mixed bag of a day later on in the show, but Leiter showed some promise. He showed he can hang with the big leaguers. He can get big leaguers out. He can get big leaguers to swing and miss on his fastballs in the zone. That's how good his fastball is. Big leaguers aren't usually big leaguers if they are swinging and missing on fastballs in the strike zone. Heck, they're definitely not big leaguers if they're swinging and missing on fastballs in the middle of the zone. But Jack Leiter has got an exceptional fastball, which is why he relies on it so much. But there were times he got a little bit too reliant on it, including throwing a first pitch fastball to Javi Baez in the strike zone. That's a cardinal sin. That's on Jonah Heim, honestly, for calling a fastball 0-0 to Javi Baez, a guy who swings at pitches in the opposite batter's box routinely. Usually those are sliders, just way, way out of the zone. And Jonah called for a first pitch fastball to Javi Baez, which is why Javi Baez had the 2 hardest hit balls in this game. Javi Baez, who had, I believe, an OPS below 400 heading into this game. But that was the call, and things just kind of got away from Jack. This was kind of about a typical-ish what I would expect from Jack Leiter start. There were some moments of beauty and brilliance. After, getting roughed up in that second inning, for him to come back and have a 8-pitch third inning where he got 3 up, 3 down, that was great. That was great to see him bounce back. Then went back out there for the fourth, had a big sizable lead. This offense, we'll talk about it later on in the show, the offense giving Jack Leiter a sizable cushion. And unfortunately, he couldn't quite go the distance, go get the win in this one, because the Rangers scored their 8th and 9th runs of the game to break a 7-7 tie in the 8th and 9th inning, respectively. But overall, not a great day for Jack Leiter, but also a very great day for Jack Leiter. He's a big leaguer. He's got a birthday in less than a week. I don't know if he will still be in the big leagues on his birthday. By the way, his birthday is the 18th. Wait, no, that's his debut. Excuse me. His birthday is the 21st, so in 3 days. We'll see if he's still up at the big league level on his birthday, or if the Rangers sent him back down. If this is a one and done start, haven't seen any confirmation yet to this point. I'm recording pretty quickly after the game, so we'll see. But even if it is, Jack Leiter's going to be back. He'll be back, and he has yet to turn 24. He's already a big leaguer. That is a developmental win for the Rangers. Despite all the ups and downs and sidewayses that Jack Leiter has been through since he was drafted 2nd overall back in 2021, this is what you were hoping for. Not the actual results, but the fact that Jack Leiter is a big leaguer. And shout out to this Rangers pen for absolutely saving the day. Jose Urena, 3 shutout innings of work. Jose Leclerc, an inning of shutout work with a couple of strikeouts, and Kirby Yates coming on for his 2nd save of the season. 4 outs, a day right after getting 4 outs the day before, his 2nd save of the season, including a strikeout, just the 1 hit, and got the win. Most important part of the day, Jack Leiter hit it on the head. He said, I'm happy to be a big leaguer, happy to have this moment with my family. Wish that I had done better personally. He's like, I am better, and I need to do better, and I will do better, which is what you love to hear from a young starter like that, especially after a debut that didn't go like he imagined it. But still, there were things to dream on. There was the potential that you saw, the way that he handled Kerry Carpenter, who has given the Rangers fits in this series. He said, hey, the important part was we got the win, and that's what matters most. Rangers win 3 out of 4 in the weirdest, wildest, most absolutely bonkers series, filled with 3 straight day games during the weekdays, Tuesday through Thursday, noon start. I still have no idea why that was the case. It's the first time the Rangers have played 3 straight weekday day games since 2011. That lets you know how rare this is. It hasn't been done in 13 years, and for good reason, because this was just almost too much silliness in a single series. I'm a big fan of the silliness. I love goofiness in baseball. I love when things go off the rails and you see something that you haven't seen before in a game. There was plenty of that in this one, and not always in the good way. But hey, the name of the game is to win games. They don't ask how, they ask how many. And that is talking about wins for your Texas Rangers. They are 11-9 atop the AL West, won 3 out of 4 against a good Detroit Tigers team, including getting a win in a wacky game the day before, a 1-run win. And they have 3 close wins in this one. Don't ask how they got there, because I don't know if that part's necessarily the most repeatable, of getting to this Tigers pen that has been one of the best in baseball repeatedly, over and over again, the 8th and 9th inning, getting the wins. And the Rangers pen, not letting up any runs in 4 1/3 innings, 5 1/3 innings of work. That is, so far, today. Don't know if it's going to be the recipe for success later on, but today it was indeed the recipe for success, as was the home run ball, which I literally just talked about this morning. This team, would they ever hit home runs again? The answer was an emphatic yes. And it wasn't just the home runs in this offense that makes me bullish on them finding their swing for the rest of the season. We're talking about why right after this word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. It's playoff time for the NBA and NHL. Baseball is in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed That's $150, win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. The Stars are the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. The Mavs look absolutely incredible. I mean, you want to bet on both those teams to go and follow in the Rangers' footsteps and win a title? You can go check out those odds. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Now, the Rangers offense did not take very long to make my Thursday morning episode look incredibly stupid of asking, will these Rangers ever hit a home run again? Because Marcus Semien, very first at-bat of the game, says, yes, we will, Bryce. Please shut up. You're silly. And I said, okay. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you for curing my home run drought blues. And then, in the second inning, Jonah Heim said, Bryce, you stupid, stupid man. Of course we will hit home runs. We are the Texas Rangers. We hit home runs. It's what we do. We score lots of runs. You are a foolish, foolish man. And I said, okay, Jonah, I get the point. I get it. Thank you for making me look foolish. And then, Adolis Garcia, in the third inning, said, Bryce, you stupid, foolish man. Of course we're going to hit home runs, you dingus. And I said, all right, I get the point. Point made. Well done. Thank you. 3 home runs in 3 innings, and the Rangers were up big on this Tigers team. And this offense was just absolutely rolling. And it wasn't just 3 home runs, although those were nice. I appreciate home runs. But again, the home run ball was not what made this offense so good last year. It was the depth. It was the quality of at-bats. It is the trust from 1 through 9 that if I don't get the job done at the plate, or if this pitcher just doesn't want to throw strikes to me, I'll take the walk. Guy behind me, he'll get the job done. If he doesn't, guy behind him will get the job done. That was the mentality all year long. It was preached from literally day 1 of spring training that this is what we do. We have good hitters everywhere in this lineup, 1 through 9. No matter who's starting on a given day, there are no just easy outs in this lineup. Well, for the most part. And the guys believe it. They trust that. They trust that they will have the good at-bats, and if they don't come through on a certain day, somebody else is going to. And on this game, pretty much everyone came through offensively with at least one big moment. Everybody was contributing. Even Ezekiel Duran, who went 0 for 4, worked a walk, but that walk was huge because it set up Leody Taveras to get the go-ahead the insurance run RBI in the top of the ninth to give Kirby Yates just a little bit of breathing room after coming in the bottom of the 8th inning, getting that first out, and then goes out with a 2-run lead in the bottom of the 9th inning, so he could breathe just a little bit easier and end up finishing off that save. But you had a 2-hit game from Leody Taveras, including that insurance run in the 9th inning. He also scored the go-ahead run in the 8th inning after a leadoff double. Now, how did he score that run? Well, it was a little bit of magic, a little bit of goofiness by the Detroit Tigers defense, which we saw a lot of in this game. Just a lot of defensive silliness, a lot of misplays by Spencer Torkelson, not to single him out and pick on him, but he had a rough series defensively. I mean, Leody Taveras was dead to rights on a ball that was grounded out to the shortstop. He was a little bit too far off second base. And then did not make the right read off the bat and was in a pickle, which almost 100% of the time, a guy in a pickle on the base paths in the big leagues, it's an out. Almost always. Almost. And this was one of those very rare cases that Gio Urshela just did not get the tag on Leody. He had him dead to rights, and Leody said, whoop, just dipped out of the tag, made it to third base. On comes Marcus Semien, reaches base safely on first base, and the Rangers had themselves a rally, and they were able to score the go-ahead run there because, that is what this series was, just a series of silliness, and Corey Seager reached on a defensive misplay from Spencer Torkelson. It was a fielder's choice, ruled an error, could have maybe been a double play, maybe. But Torkelson throws to second base to try and get Marcus Semien, the lead runner, out at second, while Leody Taveras is trying to score. But his throw pulls the fielder off the bag. Semien's safe. Seager's safe. In comes Leody Taveras. The Rangers have a 1-run lead late in this game that they did not relent. But the Rangers had their own defensive goof-ups in this one. I did talk about Leody Taveras having some good at-bats late in this one, driving in the insurance run, scoring the go-ahead run despite his own base-running wonkiness. But there was a play late in this one, which is why Jack Leiter's line looked a little bit worse than it was. It was ruled a triple on a ball that had, I believe, about a 500 expected batting average on it. A ball that was well struck, but ended up being a triple. Kerry Carpenter, 102.8 miles an hour off the bat, a 570 expected batting average. Homer in 7 of 30 ballparks, but it was not a homer in this one. Should have been an out, the third out, to get Jack Leiter out of that inning, but that was not the case. Then the last batter that Jack Leiter faced, he just left the pitch up, and Spencer Torkelson absolutely crushed it, 108.7 miles an hour off the bat for a double, a 760 expected batting average on that one. There was no way Leody Taveras was going to make a play on that one. But it was a rough play on that triple. It should have been an out, and Leody will be the first one to tell you that. And he's had some misplays. And early on in the season, in the preseason actually, I was saying, well, I think that Evan Carter is going to be the everyday center fielder because while Leody Taveras has more of the spectacular plays, he has a bigger arm, he will make more of those plays in the gaps, and like the home run robbery in the ALCS off of Yordan Alvarez, the high-end ceiling for Leody Taveras is higher than Evan Carter defensively. But the floor for Evan, usually it's a little bit higher than Leody's floor. Because occasionally there are plays like that, a play that he just lost the ball on the warning track, and it ended up being a very, very big run-scoring triple for Jack Leiter, and pretty much ended his day. Not quite, but pretty much in the inning he should have gotten out of, at least with the lead intact, and that ended up not being the case. But Leody Taveras, overall, defensively, despite plays like that, he has way more better defensive plays. Heck, they were 3, 4, 5, 6 plays this series alone where Leody Taveras made a great read on a ball in the gap, stole an extra base hit from a batter. And right now you look at his baseball savant page, his arm strength is in the top 12% of baseball, arm value top 17% of baseball, his range is outs above average, top 13% of baseball. His fielding run value, top 10% of baseball. Leody Taveras is a good defensive center fielder. The bad plays are bad, and they're frustrating. But they are not as frequent as the great plays, or the good plays, or for the most part, the routine plays. Overall, his value is good. He does his job well. He is the number 9 hitter also. There is not a lot of offensive burden on Leody Taveras to be amazing offensively. You got 8 hitters that are all pretty good when this lineup is healthy. And if you're moving Evan Carter into center field, are you moving Leody Taveras to left field? Are you taking Leody Taveras out of the equation entirely, putting Wyatt Langford, whose defense has been fine at the big league level, but I think over 162, if he's playing pretty much every day in left field, it's going to be a pretty big defensive drop-off from Evan Carter in left to Wyatt Langford. And I don't think it's going to be that much of improvement in center field from Evan Carter over Leody Taveras. And then who are you putting in the DH role? Are you putting Jared Walsh there right now, who has been horrendous at the plate and lost his platoon role at first base? Are you going to put Davis Wenzel there? Are you going to put Andrew Kisner there? It's overall value, thinking-wise. That's why the Rangers have Leody in center field. Because overall, yeah, this was a bad play, and he's had some of those bad plays before. But with the configuration of this roster, having an outfield of Evan Carter in left, Leody in center, and Adolis Garcia in right, with the occasional days off for all of those guys when Wyatt Langford pops in left field, that is where the Rangers get the most value out of their team. Yes, Leody Taveras made a goof up, but calling for his job because of one goof up that did not even cost the Rangers the game, and by the way, he did make up for it with that big RBI in the top of the 9th and a leadoff double in the 8th. Please just ignore the base running mistake, just for the sake of this point right now. But overall, Leody Taveras, valuable player, and this offense starting to find its footing in a big game that they are going to need to build their confidence up heading into a series against the Braves. Coming up, we're going to look at what that series might look like and if Jack Leiter is going to stay in this rotation. Right after this word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Spring training is over and baseball season is officially underway, so don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond to your PrizePicks entries. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, first inning runs, take your pick of more or less, then add them to your PrizePicks entry. PrizePicks even offers injury insurance, so your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For baseball games, if you have a player who registers 2 plate appearances or less, PrizePicks will have your back and not count that as a loss. PrizePicks is so simple to play. You can make your picks and submit your entry in less than 60 seconds. Testing your skills on PrizePicks this baseball season can be the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you've got the skills, you can turn $10 into $100 in just a few plays. So download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Now, this Rangers series was by far the worst, or the weirdest, not the worst, the best, worst, weirdest series of the year in these 4 games. And a lot of the weirdness came in that 8th inning with those weird defensive plays of Leody Taveras not getting tagged out, with the error by Torkelson, and with a mental error on somehow all of Adolis Garcia, the third baseman, and also the umpire in that 8th inning on a ball that looked very clearly foul. There were runners at first and second right after an out by Evan Carter. Adolis Garcia had a chance to extend that Rangers lead in the 8th inning. He hits a ball that looks pretty clearly foul on the replay. Adolis Garcia thinks that it's foul. The third baseman thinks that it's foul. And after about 5 seconds of the third baseman holding the ball, after the runners on first and second had gone to second and third, the umpire says, "Oh, nope, that's a fair ball." And so the third baseman just chucks that ball to first base. Adolis Garcia was running out of the box, stopped about halfway down the line because he thought, yeah, that's clearly a foul ball. And according to everybody but the third base umpire, that was a foul ball. But the third base umpire's word goes, and so it was a fair ball. And out comes Bruce Bochy to have some words. For the first time this year, he was ejected from the game, arguing for his player. He said, "I saw that as a foul ball. Adolis saw that as a foul ball. Third baseman saw that as a foul ball. The umpire didn't." And when asked if he had some magic word that he said that got him thrown out, Bruce Bochy said, "Well, I said something I shouldn't have. Probably can't say it here on television." Classic Bochy. But love seeing your manager go out there every once in a while fighting for your player and getting thrown out. It happened after the broadcast went to commercial break, so we didn't really see much of what happened. We saw him kind of amble out there and might have said 1 or 2 magic 4-letter words that got him thrown out, and he had to watch the end of the game from his clubhouse. But hey, just a wacky series and a little bit of wackiness with some balls and strikes, just a weird zone and a big zone at the right moments for the Rangers. And the reason for that, of course, is Jonah Heim. Heck, even on Jack Leiter's first strikeout, it was the hardest pitch that he threw of the day. It was probably about an inch or two below the zone on a fastball to Riley Green for the first strikeout of his career. A called strike 3 on a pitch framed by Jonah Heim. Pitcher's best friend on the Rangers is Jonah Heim. Not only because Jonah Heim hit a 2-run homer to give a little bit of insurance and some cushion for Jack Leiter, but because he was framing so many pitches outside the strike zone for strikes. There were at least 3 off the top of my head, strike 3 called, that Jonah Heim framed a pitch that was out of the zone. There was that one from Jack Leiter. There's one later from Jose Urena, and there was one from of course, Jose Leclerc coming in a big spot that needed just a little bit of help for the frame job. One of his 2 strikeouts in this one. Actually, the only strikeout by Jose Urena was a framed strike 3 called out of the zone. That is why Rangers fans should not want robot umpires outside of a robot replacement for Angel Hernandez, because we as a society have moved beyond the need for Mr. Angel Hernandez. Maybe that auto bike balls and strike challenge system in AAA. Maybe that's the way to go. But heck, those framing runs are huge for the Rangers, huge for Jonah Heim, huge for his value. He is starting to have some fantastic plate appearances as well. A great day for him, a great day at the plate for Wyatt Langford. Didn't have the best plate appearance with the bases loaded and one out, where he struck out swinging, expanding the zone. Not typical of him, but hey, he was going up against Alex Lang, who struck out him, and also struck out Jonah Heim, who has been having great plate appearances as well. Langford got his third extra base hit of the season. Took him a little longer than we might have thought. Still not his first homer of the season. And it was really frustrating in that plate appearance where he struck out against Lang, because there was a hanging curveball right center cut. Could not ask for a better pitch to hit your first home run, but he did not do that. He did not hit his first career grand slam. Ended up striking out. The Rangers weren't able to get more insurance runs there. Ended up only 3 for 14 with runners in scoring position on the day, because this was a wacky, wild, and weird one. But hey, it was a win. All those wins, all the little margins the Rangers did, every little bit helped. Heck, even Josh Smith continues to have amazing plate appearances. I believe he has an 8-game hitting streak now. Maybe it's just at 7 games, and it didn't happen until his final at-bat of the day. Ended up scoring a couple runs, did work a walk. Also got hit by a pitch in a scary moment, a pitch that came up and in from a lefty that he did not like. Really did not like that. Had some words, maybe the same magic 4-letter word that Bochy had for the umpire that got him thrown out. Really did not like that. Thankfully, just hit him in the shoulder, and Josh Smith is okay. But late on in this one, gets a single, and not only does he get that single, gets on base, gets a hit off of a lefty to extend his hitting streak, he also tags up from first base on a very, very deep flyout from Mr. Wyatt Langford that hit it 103.1 miles an hour, a 520 expected batting average. Not a homer in a park, 376 feet. Very, very deep, but very heady play by Josh Smith to get to second base. Ends up not mattering all that much, because Ezekiel Duran worked a walk after Jonah Heim struck out, and then Leody Taveras ended up driving in Josh Smith for that insurance run later on. But still, heady winning plays from Josh Smith, heady winning plays from most of this team in general in this one, and just a collective offensive effort from a team that is still trying to find their footing and their consistency on offense. They got BABIP to death in one game this series, and in the game, the 1-0 game, they just did just enough to get the win, and that was the story of this series. It was silly, it was weird, but the good teams get wins like this. When it's ugly, when things haven't gone your way, heck, when your starting pitcher gets 7 runs of support and leaves the game with a tie game, and you still get the win against an elite defense, not elite defense. The defense for these Tigers was left very wanting after some very costly errors, but a bullpen staff that is one of the best, if not the best in baseball, clawing across those runs late and having your bullpen come through. Hey, this is what the best teams do, and it's something during the regular season that this Rangers team didn't do last year. I feel like wins like this are kind of a culmination of this team believing in themselves from last year. Just some carryover of, oh, yeah, we actually are good. They kind of knew that heading out of spring training last year, got off to that hot start and said, okay, yeah, we're a good team now. Cool. But the confidence of having a winning record early on, having a lead in the division early on in the season last year, after many years of this organization being mid to flat out terrible, and then coming off of that, it's different. The kind of confidence you have as an organization in yourself, as a team in yourself, then coming off of a world championship, we bring back most of the same roster, and everyone out there says, oh yeah, we're the baddest dudes out there. These are just the Tigers. This is just some other team. It doesn't matter who this other team is. We are going to claw out these wins. We know how to win these close games. We didn't do that last year, but heck, all the way through the playoffs, this team clawed out close wins. They got great outings from their bullpen. They got quality performances from the top through the bottom of their lineup, and that is what they are doing yet again. And not only that, but this is towards the end of a 17-day stretch without an off day. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they head into Atlanta and they just get waxed, because the Atlanta Braves are a really freaking good team. And they just went in to Houston and swept the Houston Astros on their own turf and did it in really close games, clawing out wins late on. And this is a very good offense that the Atlanta Braves have, and they are very good at home. And the Rangers are, frankly, exhausted. They've got to be exhausted at the end of this long trip. Coming off of a long season, so many guys playing into November. Not literally everybody on this roster, but a lot of them. And this is a tough stretch early on. But again, the narrative for this entire season is hold on till those big guns come back and survive whatever injuries come across your way in the first half of the season. Max Scherzer's coming back hopefully at some point in May. Even with Cody Bradford on the IL, you get a spot start from Leiter where he's not horrible and shows some promise. And you've already got Michael Lorenzen back in your rotation, so things are looking okay for this team. They're suffering the loss of Josh Young about as well as they can, suffering the loss of Nathaniel Lowe about as well as they can, with good performances from Josh Smith and okay performances from Ezekiel Duran. And heck, we might even see Davis Wenzel get his first hit sooner as opposed to later. I think he might end up getting the start on Friday against the lefty Chris Sale. Don't know exactly what this Rangers rotation is going to look like at this point, but I think it might include Jack Leiter for at least one more go-through on this rotation, at least while we are waiting for Cody Bradford to get off the IL, because I don't think Andrew Heaney is going to get shoved in the pen just yet. I don't think Dane Dunning is going to get shoved in the pen just yet. Maybe they do jump back to a 5-man rotation and send Jack Leiter down after the one start, but I was encouraged. I know he was much better than his line looked. He had some moments. There were some questionable pitch call decisions by Jonah Heim, which is not something I say very often at all, but going with first pitch fastball in 2 different at-bats to Javi Baez, one with Jack Leiter, one with Jose Urena. It's not great, but I am happy for Jack Leiter. Happy that the Rangers got the win in whatever fashion they did. And hey, no matter what, for the rest of time, Jack Leiter, you are a big leaguer, and absolutely nobody can take that away from you, no matter what. That's going to do it for this week's shows. Thank y'all so much for listening and subscribing, and until next time, don't forget to enjoy World Series champion Texas Rangers baseball.